Minnesota Lynx couldn't get back to WNBA Finals. Next year's quest might get even harder. The pain was visible on Kayla McBride's face. The 2025 Minnesota Lynx's season was over. No more minutes to play, shots to get up, rebounds to chase down, or stops to create. Instead, only time to reflect. "It's never about anything else but each other," McBride said, fighting back tears after the Lynx's season-ending 86-81 loss to the Phoenix Mercury in Game 4 of their best-of-5 WNBA semifinals. To be close 2 years in a row and hit adverse situations each and every time for the people that you love, your sisters, your family, this hurts. It's hard, especially when you lay everything out there. The Lynx did leave everything out on the PHX Arena floor on Sunday night, when their mission to return to the WNBA Finals ended a year after falling short in the title series last season. McBride especially put up a fight, scoring a playoff career-high 31 points and nearly single-handedly forcing a Game 5. But after losses in 3 consecutive games, the top-seeded Lynx's season came to an abrupt halt. McBride, Minnesota's oldest player, knows golden opportunities don't come around often. "I wouldn't trade that locker room for anything," she said. "Windows are short in professional sports. Year-over-year success is never guaranteed." McBride is aware of that, hence her pain. What has made Minnesota's last 2 seasons, 64 combined regular season wins, the most of any franchise, all the more impressive is that the team has won despite not signing the highest-profile free agents. Instead, the Lynx have succeeded by signing players who Cheryl Reeve, the coach and team president, was adamant would fit together as seamlessly as possible. Minnesota's sum remains better than its individual parts. Its team building has undoubtedly been successful, and players such as Alana Smith, Courtney Williams, and McBride have either had career years or, at the very least, late career revivals. Yet, it's a tall task to continue to hit home run after home run. Not every move in free agency is bound to achieve as much success, especially when the league's upcoming offseason could be its most chaotic ever with almost every veteran player on the market. The 2025 Lynx started the season ahead of the 2024 Lynx. The familiarity players on this year's team had with one another, and with Reeve, made a tangible difference in their quest to return to the finals. They knew what they had in their core. Star forward Nafisa Collier knew where Williams liked the ball, and from where the crafty guard enjoyed pulling up. Williams made her second All-Star team in July. Collier, who eventually finished second in MVP voting, knew that her frontcourt partner Smith, a future co-defensive player of the year, could stretch the floor on the perimeter and how much ground Smith could cover on defense. Collier said in April that the Lynx were starting at such a higher place. But on Sunday, the Lynx's season came to an end a round short of where they ended last season. Continuity, and a drive to achieve what had slipped away in last year's finals loss to the New York Liberty, bred a historic season. A Lynx franchise record 34 wins, and a team that led the league in offensive and defensive ratings. Yet, it didn't bring the culminating moment it worked desperately to achieve. On Sunday, using just 7 players, the Lynx squandered an 11-point lead after the first quarter and a 13-point lead after the third quarter. After being outscored 56-30 in the fourth quarter of their Game 2 and 3 losses against the Mercury, the Lynx were outscored 31-13 in the fourth quarter. That all is uncharacteristic, considering the Lynx led the league in fourth-quarter net rating this season. Figuring how to avoid similar lulls in key moments will be another critical off-season task. "I think we just didn't get enough quality shots down the stretch," said Lynx associate head coach Eric Thibault. Reeve was not on the sideline, as she served a 1-game suspension for her outburst in the waning seconds and aftermath of Game 3. Neither was Collier, who was out with an injury she sustained in the previous game. She welcomed the Lynx onto the court with their nightly pregame chant, but she was then relegated to the bench. She wore a boot on her left ankle and needed a medical scooter to maneuver around. The Lynx are left with questions about what could have been this season had Collier remained healthy. But they are also left to confront another reality. The WNBA is also in an era of hyperchange. The Golden State Valkyries entered the WNBA this past season as Minnesota lost key reserve wing Cecilia Zandalicini in the expansion draft. With the Toronto Tempo and Portland Fire entering the league next spring, 2 more Minnesota players are almost guaranteed to be reallocated. Then, there is an all-hands-on-deck free agency, in which practically every veteran is on the market. Minnesota will be aggressive filling whatever holes spring up, and Reeve has proven to be resourceful. The 2025 Lynx seem to have a winning recipe, but they're unlikely to return in the same form. Last year's finals loss stung because the Lynx came so close. In Reeve's words, the title was stolen out from under them. This season, it was almost cruel that the Lynx didn't get to go out at full strength. It's why McBride felt such hurt on Sunday. But that's the reality the Lynx are forced to confront this offseason. I would feel like this 100 times over to be with the people that I've been with, McBride said. That's why it's painful. Because you just want it to keep going. The Minnesota Lynx have always carried themselves with the weight of expectation. For nearly 2 decades, they've been the WNBA's blueprint for sustained excellence. Championships, culture, and an unmistakable toughness that reflected the spirit of Minnesota basketball. But this year, that blueprint ran into its limits. The Lynx pushed, clawed, and hustled, but they couldn't find a path back to the WNBA Finals. For fans, the disappointment is real. This team had flashes of magic, a top-tier defense, Nafisa Collier's MVP-caliber consistency, and the rise of new contributors who gave Target Center its electricity again. But against the league's best, the gaps showed. Depth was streaky. The offense sometimes stalled when Collier was bottled up. And when the lights burned brightest, Minnesota looked like a team still in transition, not yet a finished product. The hard truth, their journey next year could be even steeper. A league that doesn't wait. The WNBA is in the middle of a power surge. Young stars like Aya Wilson, Breanna Stewart, and Kalia Copper aren't just dominating. They're redefining the pace and versatility of the game. Rookies are entering the league more polished, more ready to contribute immediately. Teams like the Las Vegas Aces and New York Liberty aren't going away. They're stockpiling depth, shooters, and size. For the Lynx, who still rely heavily on Collier's all-around brilliance, the challenge is keeping pace with an arms race that never slows down. While their front office has been shrewd in developing overlooked players and mining the draft, it's becoming harder to stay competitive without bold roster moves. Collier needs more help. There's no denying that Nafisa Collier is the franchise cornerstone. She stepped into the void left by Sylvia Fowles with grace and ferocity, carrying both the scoring load and the emotional leadership of the team. But even an MVP candidate can't do it alone.